Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the week 16 garden tour here at Reach and Reverie. I'm so excited to show you guys this new addition to our little homestead. We just got some misters for our girls. Now the wind seems to be blowing towards me today, but normally, like if it's not too windy or if it's blowing in that direction, it lands right over here and moistens the ground for the girls, and it gives them just a little bit of relief in this super hot July summer that we're having out here. Lucky for us, it's not too hot yet. It's still pretty early in the day, so let's get looking at some of these plants we have. Have this spaghetti squash that is just absolutely beautiful. Look at it just overflowing out of that pot. I think for last week's garden tour it was still inside the pot. It hadn't started traveling downward yet. So this thing has just exploded with growth this week. It's looking really lovely, really healthy, and I hope we get some squash off of it. We'll see. Everything over here is doing pretty good, still hanging on. These tomatillos are looking really nice this morning. And hopefully if it doesn't get too hot, they'll still be pretty nice. But knowing them, you know guys, y'all saw last week, when it gets sunny and over 100, these things start curling. Now, this week has been quite a bit cooler than last week. The beginning of the week was still up in like 105, 110 range, but as the week has gone on, it's dropped down into the 90s. So every day we have been so much cooler, and you can see the plants are just loving it. At night we've even been getting down into the 70s, which is amazing because last week all we did was get down to 85 at night, and we were breaking some records with how hot it was here. And 85 degrees, I think it's 26 degrees Celsius, and we were getting up to around 43 degrees Celsius in the day, all week long, every single day, which is just blistering. Let's see, I need to go and double check those conversions. Not sure. My pumpkin is still alive, but overall just miserable. Some of the locals, actually one local in particular, told me that now, late summer or midsummer, is the time to plant pumpkin, and that you can harvest pumpkin in October. I had not heard of that, so I'm going to look into that, and maybe next year I won't plant my pumpkin so early in the spring. We'll see. I need to look into that a little more. But I know there is a pumpkin patch about an hour north of us, and some of the locals were saying that that's the strategy they use, is they don't plant the pumpkins until later in the season. So I don't know, what do you guys do with pumpkins? Do you plant them with your spring crops, or do you plant them midsummer? I know they are definitely struggling. This all here was hail damage, but all of the new growth is also struggling quite a bit, but it does look a lot better than that area that got some hail damage. You can see where we got our hail damage if you go back and watch the week 8 garden tour. These nasturtiums I'm so happy with in this garden bed. They have just been hanging in there. You can see that they are struggling a little bit. There is some scorching and some drying areas. The flowers look like they're getting a little bit bleached by the sun. But you know what? Nasturtiums are not known to be really heat tolerant plants. So I'm just really proud of these guys for sticking it out and hanging out and still flowering over here for me. This week I am going to post a video on the benefits of nasturtium and a couple of ways that you can preserve them for your cooking use. This is my husky red cherry tomato. It's a hybrid cherry tomato. Put that in my basket. I'm carrying a little basket with me. These tomatoes are starting to show early like blighty symptoms. So I have just been coming out here every day and picking off anything that looks like that. Because if you leave it on the plant and forget about it, it's gonna spread to your other tomato plants, and your plants are all going to get really sick and die. What is it, Evie? You're looking at the girls? They're checking you out too. They're going to peck your nose. How are you doing, bud? He's so much happier today. The other day, I recorded a video where Dyson was not happy with the rain. We were getting a thunderstorm coming in, and I had to let them come out to go potty before it started raining, and he did not want to go potty. He does not like thunderstorms. Lucky for us, we don't get a whole lot around here. Look at those. I think that pink one is just so pretty. They're all pretty. But we planted in this pot. It's just a 5-gallon regular plastic bucket, and we spray painted it, drilled some drainage holes, and then the bottom half is cement and the top half is a planter, and it holds an umbrella. I think this is a silver sunproof. I don't remember the name on this one. And then these were just some flowers that were like $1 at our local garden center. So we snagged these just so that we could have something to make this little umbrella holder look a little bit nicer. That's already 92 degrees, and it is only like 8 o'clock this morning. Hey girls! Sounds like someone's laying an egg. Miss Myrtle, did you lay an egg, or are you about to lay an egg? When we first got chickens and they first started laying eggs, every time they would make that, what's called an egg song, we would all run out here and be like, what's wrong with our chickens? But that's just a sound that they make after or before they lay their eggs. It's completely normal. So if you get chickens thinking that if you only get hens, they will be super quiet, the hens will make noise too. I mean, obviously they talk like how Pip is talking right now, but they also make that egg song where they cluck. And then they will also make noise if they see anything that they think is a threat, like an aerial predator or something like that. All right, before we get into the garden, I like to give the girls a little snack. Usually I'll bring them like either some food that's in the kitchen or like just a frozen snack. Today I'm gonna give them some black soldier fly larva. It's dried, it's freeze dried. I like black soldier fly larva over mealworms because it has like 50 times the calcium as mealworms. Hey girls! Let's see, who are we missing? We're missing Pip. Come on, Pip! Come on, girls! Let's go! And it looks like we're also missing Molly. Come on, Molly! Alright, looks like we got all our chickens. Just gonna sprinkle these bugs, and they love it. Extra protein, extra calcium, really good for them. I usually give them about a handful a couple times a week. This time of year anyway. Alright, that's all the grubblies you get today. They love their little grubbies. Good snacks. They're following me like I'm gonna give them more. I can already feel how much cooler it is this week, and it's making me pretty happy. I mean, granted, it's like still in the 90s, but last week was so hot. So I'm definitely gonna start thinking about pulling some of these plants out that are starting to really struggle at this time in the season. I know, for example, this is a morning glory, and it hasn't produced any flowers this season, and it's just struggling a lot. So I'm thinking about pulling that out, amending the soil a little bit, and getting ready to maybe plant something for the fall in the next couple weeks, starting in August. Today is July 20th. So here in another week or so, at the beginning of August, I am going to start amending some of my gardening space for fall crops. I am planning on completely taking out everything in this bed, except maybe the marigold, because the marigold's doing really well. My tomatillos are also growing really well, But I've learned my lesson that I needed to maybe get cracking on hand pollinating a lot sooner. You can see it is still producing flowers, still have buds on this thing. Very healthy plant, very large plant. But out of my 3 tomatillo plants, I think I only have 7 tomatillo fruits that are developing. And this is a lot of space in the garden. So I'm not gonna waste another couple months waiting for these buds to maybe not turn into fruit, or this flower to maybe not turn into a tomatillo. So by the end of the month, tomatillos are coming out. By the end of the month, I'm also going to go ahead and take out my ground cherry. I know ground cherries can be perennials, so it could overwinter. I could probably prune it back and overwinter, but honestly, these ground cherries have been struggling for a while now. But I think if I do plant these ground cherries again next year, I'm going to have to rethink this strategically. So this year I'm probably going to go ahead and just take out these ground cherry plants. I might cut them down even with the ground and see if they'll come back next year. I don't know if that will work with ground cherries. I know that you can do that with some other plants like beans and things. I might do that, but overall I'm still on the fence here. I may just pull this all out so that I can really get in, work the soil, add some more nutrition to the soil, and get it ready for things like brassicas and root vegetables. I'm so happy with my black Hungarian jalapenos. Look at those peppers. I did not think that these plants were going to produce anything. I threw the 3 of them in one pot just to give them a chance to grow, and they have surprised me very pleasantly. Watermelon is staying in until the end of the season. It's doing great. These are also doing, like, I might leave the kale, but I'm going to go ahead and pull early sprouting purple broccoli. And right now, actually, while I'm thinking about it, Swiss chard is going to go to the chickens. They can get an extra treat today. I am just straight up going to do that. And then I'll plant something else in that pot. Girls can get a little snack. Because that Swiss chard is miserable. Enjoy! So far only Sinisa and Odette even see it. Like everyone else is rooting around. Get in there, Dua. Get in there, Yasha. They're not so sure about it. But I guarantee you, once one chicken finds out that it's edible, they are going to just completely devour it. So lots of changes are coming. We're getting towards, this is the middle, like the middle of summer season. So we still have a lot of potential. I am at this point in the season starting to strategize towards a fall garden. Man, my Blue Beauty tomatoes are just, they make me so happy every time I come out here and look at them. Look at that. Look at that tomato right there. They are doing good. My tomatoes, these tomatoes have just done so good. I think I will definitely plant Blue Beauty tomatoes every year if I have the space for it, because they're just so good. These have been the best tasting tomatoes I think I've ever had. And they don't complain. They don't have a lot of disease. They've done amazing in this 110 degree weather that we've been having the past couple weeks. And they just don't skip a beat. The other thing that we've really struggled with this week are pests. In this garden bed, I had planted a ton of radishes, and I'm only down to the last few. Some of them did kind of burn out from the heat, but I also have been seeing a lot of scratch marks in the soil and a lot of like little digging areas. And I know I have had some pole beans that I planted here, and I have replanted pole beans probably 4 times in this spot, and I was down to my last pole bean yesterday. And so I wrapped him up and he was starting to go up, and then I came out here in the afternoon yesterday and his stem was completely like bent over and he had chew marks all down the stem, and I ended up having to pull out that bean shoot and give it to the chickens. And then I also was looking at my marigold that had been doing really well, and there were several spots on the marigold where the stems were chewed up, and overall the plant has been doing pretty good. And then I had several other seedlings in my pot with my okra that had been chewed all the way down to the dirt. So I am a little concerned with how I'm going to plant my fall garden with, like, look at this. This was a leaf right here and it's just chewed up. So I am a little concerned with pests. I think I might place a couple snap traps back behind the pots over there and see if I can catch one. It's going to be out of reach from the chickens, so I won't have to worry about that. But I don't use anything poison, that's not coming anywhere near our property. So if we got to get rid of the mouse, we got to catch it with maybe like a snap trap. Our cats are indoor cats, so they're not going to catch it. And I don't know. I'm kind of like not really sure what to do at this point. I know the mouse has been eating all of my little ground cherries that have been falling off the plant. They just chew off the middle of the ground cherry and then leave the husk, and so I go to pick it up and it's just empty. And so I haven't been getting very many ground cherries. The ground cherries we have had some nibbles on them. So at this point in the season, I'm just collecting the ground cherries to give to the chickens. So they're getting some extra yummy snacks, which is good. But I'm having to duck because my tomatillos. So we can look forward to some changes in the next couple of weeks. And change is good. I'm actually really excited about the fall garden. I have been a little disappointed with the tomatillos. I'm definitely learning a lot. I think next time I'm just gonna get in there and hand pollinate the crap out of my tomatillos. And one way you can do that, or the way that I started, because from what I saw, the 7 tomatillos that I have growing on the plant are the ones that I hand pollinated at the very beginning of the season. And what I did was I just grabbed like a little Q-tip cotton swab thing, and I just stuck it on flowers and hand pollinated that route. Now, tin snips are one of the most recommended tools that I will push for on the homestead. So versatile. You could use these for everything. You could use them for trimming wings on chickens. You can trim their primary feathers so they can't fly, and you can cut wire fencing, you can prune your plants, you can harvest your fruits. But sharpest, strongest, most versatile, I wouldn't even use scissors here on the homestead. So I have pruning shears and I have tin snips. My hair is just getting a little more frizzy with every moment that passes in this morning video. I'm not used to humidity. We got some rain yesterday, and out here we normally are sitting at like 8% humidity, and I can tell it's a little humid today. But look at how many tomatoes we got this morning. I just love this Blue Beauty tomato. And everywhere where the tomato is kissed by some blue color, it's packed with antioxidants. Those are called anthocyanins. And it's just a reaction that anywhere where the sun hits on the tomato pretty heavily, it will show those anthocyanins just a little bit. And then this tomato, he is still a little green, but if I sit him on the counter for a day or two, he'll ripen up really nicely. Look at this. It's a funny looking tomato. Little cat faced, but still very good. And then this one is ripe, but he didn't get very big. So these tomatoes, most of the ones I've been getting are around 6 ounces, but they can vary quite a bit in size. I think because it's been so hot, they're ripening a little sooner. So this week's tomatoes are a little bit smaller just because of how hot it's been, I think. Now my eggplant is doing so good. This one's getting nice and big. The one over here has some healthy leaf production, but he's a little smaller. And that's a basil. My jalapenos, these are like chest height now. They're getting really big. I can see that my black Hungarian jalapenos, it took a couple weeks, but they're getting back into production mode. They are just loaded with really pretty purple flowers, which means that we're gonna have some more jalapenos in a few weeks. And then my bell peppers. I know it was probably 2 or 3 weeks ago that I harvested all of the bell peppers, and this is a second round of bell peppers on these plants. And just check out, I wanted to show you guys this. I need to count, but in this cluster right here, there are so many flowers. Look at that. I don't even know if you can see it very well on the camera. There is just so many flowers right there. So I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen if all of those get pollinated. Now my basil, I have kind of let go a little bit. I think it's really beautiful. And over the past few days, I've kind of been debating if I want to pull out this basil plant or not and kind of get this area ready for the fall. I'm definitely going to leave my Blue Beauty tomatoes, my jalapenos, my bell peppers, and my eggplant longer in this season. So don't worry about that. I'm really just gonna get a head start on this bed, but this bed is gonna, for the most part, stay pretty intact. The plants that I'm thinking about pulling out on this garden bed are my basil and my nasturtiums. Nasturtiums are coming out today. These nasturtiums. I actually think I might just pull them right now in a minute. I'm gonna come out with a video shortly after this one on how to utilize your nasturtium plant because they have a lot of cool health benefits. They are edible. So we're going to do a video on that after I harvest these. But my purple basil had been struggling so much, and I think just with the coolness that we've had the past couple days, it's actually bounced back. See, most of the leaves were just ugly, like bleached almost, showing some real stress signs, and then 3 days of 90-degree weather versus 110-degree weather have made this plant very happy. So I might leave him in after all. Maybe I'll just come in and prune him and then leave him in. So I kind of was leaving the flowers on, thinking I was just going to harvest this whole thing because they do attract pollinators. But if I leave him in, I'm going to keep pulling these off. Isn't that pretty? Oh, basil smells so beautiful. I'm going to give these to the chickens. My current tomato is hanging in there. This tomato creates small, tiny little tomatoes that are about the size of like green peas, essentially. So my goal is to get at least 1 tomato off of this plant this season. And if I can get 1 tomato off the plant, I'm just going to save seed and start next year with several of these plants. I can see there's a flower right there. So I'm hoping that we can grow something. He is getting a little bit of pest pressure, and I think he is having a little bit of an adjustment from his last home. I bought this plant at the farmer's market, and I can see that he's not as healthy as he was when I got him, but he is growing quite a bit. So just give me 1 tomato, little tomato plant, and we can keep growing him year after year if we do that. Squash is hanging in there. It has perked up so much since we've had this cooler weather. My pumpkin plant is going all the way up above my 5-foot garden fence. So since I'm already out here, I'm gonna go ahead and pull it. And look at that, you can see the whole bottom of the plant gone. But we're gonna harvest the leaves off of this. for our spice cabinet. Man, this soil feels really nice. Moist and rich. All right, might get a few leaves off of this one, but this one was already going downhill. I can see all that dried matter. All right. So that gives space already for something for the fall. Definitely going to benefit from those nasturtiums. And it's not. He has it set to where the camera's supposed to be on here, but I think it picked up some movement over there, so. But we are watching the table because somebody, we have a few suspects under investigation. Somebody is getting on this table and flipping over all of our cactus pots and uprooting them. So you can see the evidence. We had a couple broken pots. I had to repot a couple of these. This one needs some more soil because they dug him out. I had a little aloe vera plant up here and they ate it. And then you can see they're scratching at it. They uprooted little Lewis. He's been in the family a few years now. We have him propped up while he heals. And then they knocked off my ocotillo off the table. You can see they broke this aloe vera leaf stem, I guess. So they broke this pot. So we're trying to investigate who is the culprit. I'm hoping it's a chicken, because if it's not a chicken, then what is getting in the yard and flipping over our pots? So it probably was a chicken. But we're also trying to think about where we can move our cactus succulent garden to, because I don't know, we didn't really think we had room in the dog yard. We don't want to take away more space from the dogs, but might have to move it to the dog garden. See, this was all that's left of one of the aloe veras that we had up here. Oh man, we're on to you girls. We're gonna catch you. Now we're not gonna do anything to the chicken that is getting on the table. We just want to confirm that it is a chicken and not like a cat or something. Oh my gosh, is it Pip? Look at her walking around looking at the table. I just saw a duck come out of the hay, so let me see if she laid an egg over there. There's a nest right there. There's another little nest over here. You girls, y'all can't be laying eggs back here. I've gotten 2 eggs this week in the hay. I think because it's been so hot, they like going in here where they have ventilation more versus laying their eggs in here. We already got 3 eggs this morning. I'll come back and grab them when I get my little basket. And this afternoon I'm going to do my weekly coop clean out. So got a lot of stuff planned today. So on my list today is bring the harvest inside. Gonna dry some nasturtium and come back out to the coop clean out. Try to figure out who's getting on my table. Which one of you is it? They're not gonna tell me. They're gonna try to steal my nasturtiums. All right. Get back in and see how our dogs are doing. Hey dogs. Whew, it's hot. It feels like it's gone up like 10 degrees just since I started making this video. Hey Evie. You love sitting in this wet grass that I just watered. You getting hot? Are you hungry? It's about time for your breakfast, huh? Are you hungry? She says, I think I'm enjoying my little nap. You woke me up. Dyson, come here. Come here. I know you're hungry. You hungry? Yeah, he's always hungry. All right, well, again, thank you so much for joining me for the week 16 garden tour. I love sharing my garden with you guys. coming up this week, you can expect a couple more videos. I'm probably going to do that nasturtium video where we're going to see how to utilize nasturtium. It has a load of health benefits, so stay tuned for that one. And then we're also might see a video on butter. I think I'm going to make some butter. We're getting pretty low. And then what else? I don't know if I'm going to record the coop clean out. I know I need to get the coop clean. I know I need to get the coop done today, but is that something y'all really want to watch? It's just a hot mess. We'll see. All right, well, until next time, keep doing what you're doing. I love sharing the garden with you. Tell me what y'all guys like to do. What are some of your hobbies? Because looking for some more hobbies to pick up. Until next time, thank you guys for watching. You guys hungry? Are you hungry? Come on. Come on. Let's go inside. Let's go inside. I almost forgot my harvest. Kick my shoes off. Get in here. Hey, Russell. Did you want to say hi? Say hi to everybody. It's a sweet boy. You got a little scab on your face. You've been playing rough with your brother Remy. You guys play so rough. You see some birds? Yeah? You gonna sneeze? You look like you're gonna sneeze. Russell has some allergies. We're still trying to figure it out. We're gonna do some slow diet changes and see if that helps. It might just be the dust. We live in such a dusty place. So he's usually squinting because of his allergies. You look pretty good today though. Not bothering you too much? Yeah. Oh, is it time to eat, boys? You guys still have some food. I'll give y'all some fresh food. What is it, Russell? It says I want the good stuff. You gave me dry food earlier. I want the wet food. You're not too picky. I'll give you some more. Got Dyson. Russell, that's Dyson's. We got Evie's. Russell, Remy, you'll have your own food.